Hey everyone, Nello here. So in recent days, there's been a client floating around Reddit that is more or less an Ultra HD version of Old School. There's been obviously a lot of skepticism about it because it kind of just looks way too good to be true. So in today's video, I'm going to look at all the facts I could find and dismiss some of the rumors, as well as discuss why we may be getting an HD client fairly soon. Real quick before I get started, I just want to let everyone know that I am doing bond giveaways in my clan chat at the moment. I'm doing them about every week, maybe even more frequently since everyone's home for the virus anyway. Here's a little clip of a giveaway I did yesterday. All you have to do to be eligible is just be in the clan chat when I decide to draw the bond using this random name generator. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So really, ever since Old School's release, the community has more or less been obsessed with the idea of an HD client. Since almost day one, there's been people who have wanted HD, especially since that's a lot more nostalgic than the current graphics for a decent chunk of the community. As you can guess, so many people have tried and failed to make a client that captures that nostalgia, so today we'll be looking at this Reddit user, Toddy. He's the one that's been posting the recent updates of his work on an HD client. Now, based on these screenshots and videos, it seems a little too good to be true, right? Well, maybe not. Looking back on his user profile, he's been working on projects like this for a long time. Some of his work is just absolutely beautiful. So back in 2015, he managed to, if I'm reading this correctly, recreate the RuneScape client in Unity using C#, as well as make a first-person camera. This may sound a little far-fetched, but if you remember the RuneScape HD client that used 2008 assets from a few years ago, that I actually have talked about on my channel a couple times, so if you want to check that out, you can. Anyway, before they shut down, they were working on getting first person to work with Old School and potentially even VR. The client for that did have a public release that I personally used, so I would have believed it if they said they were working on it. Anyway, back on topic. Over the next few months, Toddy would release more screenshots on how this client worked, and more proof that it was actually real. Unfortunately, a lot of the screenshots and videos have since been deleted, which is probably because of something we'll get to later. Sometime after, Toddy would partner with someone named Andrew and began working on an Old School version of the client. The client finally got its name HD Helper. And out of nowhere, a couple months later, an update post is made saying, "I have some unfortunate news. I know several of you are anticipating a release, but I've recently been approached with an enticing acquisition from a firm you all probably already know, and I simply cannot refuse." So what happened? We got an update post literally today. Toddy, known as Jordan, says at the time he was 17 and he was using the project to learn how to program. He actually got invited to Jagex HQ to meet with ModMattK about trying to implement it inside Jagex. I stayed for a few days where we discussed the future of the client. Ultimately, it didn't come to fruition and I stopped developing the client. Later, I sold it to a third party, but they didn't end up finishing it either, and they've since given me the rights to make a new one if I choose so. This is why I believe the screenshots got deleted earlier, because obviously it was sold and acquired by someone else and maybe they requested to have them removed. Anyway, that's a little off topic. So here we are now. The client is real and he says he's at about the 80% mark. Now, as I'm typing this, a Reddit mod locked the thread saying, considering Jagex have already confirmed that OSHD, which is what this project is built around using Unity and JavaScript, will not be compatible with their bot detection systems and thus not allowed, I'm going to go ahead and lock this thread. But seeing as how Jagex was willing to work with him in the past, I could see it happening again even though ModMattK doesn't work there anymore. And saying that it's the same as OSHD is a little bit misleading, especially because OSHD supposedly used stolen assets. Now let's say this doesn't end up working out. Another user by the name of RS117 is working on another version of HD built for RuneLite, implemented in a completely different way. And the author is hoping for a potential release in the coming months. So we'll see how this goes. I'm fairly confident that as long as these projects aren't abandoned, we'll be seeing an HD client sooner rather than later if we're lucky. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about this project down below, and I will see you in the next one.